This may look like a rusty vessel of some sort, and it probably was, but for the last 25 years it's been a drain pipe, and I got it for a song, and it's going to be a drain pipe on our new property. So in these photos, it's sitting on the property of the guy I bought the pipe from. He's got a nice place, and it was sitting in the dirt, which made it hard. I had to dig a hole to put the hydraulic jack under one end and jack it and crib it and jack it and crib it, and went back and forth until I ran out of cribbing. And I was heading home, and I realized he had a big old pile of cribbing in his yard, and he was good enough to let me use it. So I spent another couple hours, and I got it up real high, high enough to put a trailer under. And the next day, my buddy Fred and I borrowed Shane's trailer, and we got the trailer under it and drug it onto the trailer and brought it home. And we got it home, we strapped it to a tree and pulled the trailer out from under it with some pipe rollers. And we let it fall onto some old logs so it didn't go all the way to the ground, which makes it much easier to jack next go around. So then it sat in my yard for quite a while, a couple months I guess. And I brought a torch home from the foundry, and I cut off the pipes that are sticking out way far, and I cut a foot off the end just because it was longer than the one that was in the ground. I was trying to shave some weight. So now that I've got the road in shape, got renewed interest on this baby. So to get the pipe back on the trailer, it's got to come up, and it's heavy. It's north of 3,000 pounds, and even though it looks like it's rusty, rust expands like up to 10 times its original volume, so it's got a 1/8 of an inch of rust on it, but there's still a lot of steel there. So I tried to film this stop action, and all I got was a bunch of still photos. But anyway, I jack it, I crib it, I jack it, I crib it, I jack it, I crib it, because of the limited stroke of my little hydraulic jack. And when I get it up high enough, I can get that front edge up on top of the trailer, and that's what I spent the first afternoon doing, just getting it up high.
Boy, it is getting ready to storm, and I really want to get this pipe on here before it does. So I redid my come-alongs. I have 2 come-alongs. I don't think I can just back under it, because I think I might knock it off the block. So I'm going to back a little bit, crank on it a little bit. It's starting to rain already. Back on it and crank on it. Let's see what happens.
So yesterday afternoon, I had the pipe where I wanted it. It was up high. The front end was on the trailer. Everything was lovely. Started pouring down rain so hard I could not see out of my mirror in the truck. So did I wait until the condition improved? Did I go get help? No, none of the above. I kept on going, and now this is where we are.
So I knocked the pipe off the blocks, and now we have to almost start over. It's not totally on the ground, thankfully, but it's pretty far down there. So I got to make it safe, make some room under the front for the jack. I might have to dig a hole, get it back up again, and we'll turn the camera off for all this misery, redo stuff. Okay, once again, I got this end of the pipe high enough to get the trailer under. Okay, feeling better now. Got the trailer up to the pipe. Didn't have enough room to put the little 2-inch pipe under it, so I jacked the jack down, put it on some boards so it could slide, and it was still hooked to the truck, but I took some weight off of the truck, which made the trailer go up in the front and down in the back, and that's how far we got it. So now I disconnected it to the truck, get the truck out the way to make sure it don't smash my tailgate, and I jacked the jack up some more, and I got 2 come-alongs hooked up without straps, so no stretch. So I'm going to try to pull the trailer back until it hits these first blocks, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. You ready?
So Paul came to help me, and this is how we did it. We just cranked the trailer under the pipe. The front of the trailer came up way high up in the air, but it can't fall down because the pipe's on the back of it. And then the further forward the pipe came onto the trailer, the trailer gradually settled down back on the jack in the front. And then I hooked it back up to my truck, and we were done. It was ready to pull. And the first pull was just right down one driveway and up the other, so that I could get it to my side of the fence so I could weld on it.
Got it, baby. Got it on the trailer. Got it back on the truck. Now I'm going to drive around and back down my driveway as far as I can, and hopefully I can reach my welding machine It has a limited stretch on the cord, but I want to weld these two big holes shut, and the little holes I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with. I might patch them with concrete or something, or nothing. I really need to patch them. So I pulled out the driveway and stopped to back up into my driveway and heard a big old huge crash. And I thought the hitch had come undone, but what happened is the pipe rolled forward on the rollers and crashed into the wall because I didn't have it strapped down, didn't think I needed to. I had some blocks to keep it from rolling sideways, but man, the thing rolls so easy. I'm going to pull it back and strap it securely.
So another reason I trimmed the foot off the end of the pipe with the torch was so I could have some material to cut these coupons with. I did some grinding. It's pretty rough material. And I got them stuck up here with a little stick, and I'm going to weld them in place on these big holes. The little holes I ended up patching with non-shrink grout.
So it turned out my welding hood is not here. It's at the foundry. And I really wanted to get this thing done, so I just did it, not with my eyes closed, but I didn't use my eyes. I just used that corner and rocked the torch back and forth. And it really didn't come out a whole lot uglier than my normal welds. Well, it's pretty ugly because there's a lot of rust and crap, but I gave it the hammer test. It's on there, and that's what we're really looking for, is that it doesn't cave in. So I'm gonna go get some non-shrink grout and plug these other holes, put some more braces underneath the bottom, because right now all the weight is on this pipe and this pipe. That's not right. We need to spread it out. And this thing will be ready to roll down the highway as soon as the property dries up a little bit. It's pretty muddy right now. Ooh, I almost forgot to film. This is where the big ugly pipe goes. Right now there's a corrugated steel pipe. It's collapsed, it's rusted in half, and it had a bunch of sinkholes, and basically we had an earthen bridge here. It was just waiting for a good rain for it to collapse. So I'm digging it out today, back dragging the dirt to make a good platform, so I have something to set up on to get the heavy pipe in the hole. Took out 4 good sized trees to make some room, but I should have this out before I leave, and then it's just a matter of having dry weather to get that old pipe and the truck and trailer down here to put it in place. So the old boy definitely had some rust issues. It was basically 2 halves, the top half and the bottom half. They weren't connected anymore, and they were kind of overlapping, but came out easier than I thought it was going to come out with this little hoe. And left a pretty straight hole for us to dump the new one in. Now that new one is steel, so I'm just gonna get it over here and roll it in the hole. Can't hurt it. And then backfill, and hopefully I can generate enough good dry dirt to backfill it where we can drive over it without getting stuck. So the pipe is out and left a beautiful invert, like the dirt didn't collapse. I got a perfectly semicircular bottom here, I think. I can't really see it, but next time I come, the water will be clear and I should be able to see it. I got 2 pieces of driftwood I need to get down there and get out, but I don't think this could have gone any better. This is the power line that cuts through our property, a power line servitude. Obviously the electrical company has the right to, you know, to run the wires, and they do keep it mowed, I guess maybe once a year or so, just so if something happens they can get in here. So I don't know what the rules are about pushing dead trees onto the servitude or a rusty pipe. I'm not sure how that works. I guess I'll just shove it up in the trees. That's how we do it in the country. I don't even think I could sell this thing for scrap iron. It's more dirt and rust than steel. Anyway, okay, start the long process of walking the mini hoe back toward the highway. Pick up 2 empty gas cans and my lunchbox and my water cooler. And so this pipe followed me from the house this morning, behaved well. And now we are going to take my 2-wheel drive highway truck with highway tires and see if we can't pull this trailer all the way to the power line so I can set this pipe in that big hole. If I don't make it, I got a rescue vehicle.
So a good portion of the property we purchased, probably more than half, was clear cut about 7 or 8 years ago. It's hard to tell exactly. So you know, the loggers come cut all the trees and then they leave, and then the baby pine trees sprout up from seeds or roots or however they do it. And It's not very desirable. It's not very pretty. It won't be commercial wood for another 25 years. It's full of so much thorns and brambles that you really can't even walk through it. And then another good part of our property is kind of wet, too wet to build on. And for a lot of people, they would go like, why would you want this? And we wanted it because the price was right. We were able to get a large piece. We would much rather prefer a large piece of imperfect property than a smaller piece of beautiful property. So we got a big old hunk of property. And right now I'm going downhill. The truck is flying. The road, this is the road that I did not disturb because it had grass on it except for some of the pipes. So I've crossed one pipe. This is the second pipe, and down the road we go.
Drain culvert number 3. Oh, getting kind of bumpy here. Culvert number 4. Culvert number 5. Culvert number 6. Is that a culvert? Yeah, culvert number 7. Yeah, we got some passengers here. Culvert number 8. A little uphill. Come on, baby. Oh, we got it made. Culvert number 9. Culvert number 10. And I'm gonna pull in here to turn around and back the rest of the way. Okay, good ride. Ooh, look at the bugs. Let me get my hat. I gotta go walk back up and get the rescue vehicle, the mini hoe. It's a long walk. Put them somewhere on this stupid thing, which has no creature comforts as far as there's nowhere to put your phone or your gloves or your glasses or anything. Everything falls off. I got a hammer right there. It stayed on so far. Could have had a glove box or something. If I owned it, I'd definitely screw something to it, but I don't own it. We are here. Pipe, mini hoe, everything's lovely. Really was not an issue at all. So now I'm gonna unstrap it. I'm gonna unscrew these little chocks. I did remember to bring my drill, thankfully. I'm gonna pull it off the trailer with the mini hoe and then spin it around and then get the mini hoe on this side of it and just kind of roll it over there. That's what we're gonna try to do. Oh yeah, yesterday I plugged these holes with non-shrink grout to seal for any water leakage. So all these holes are sealed up, and this stuff is super hard. It's not going anywhere. That'll keep the dirt from washing into these holes and keep tree roots from growing into them, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, ready to go. It's all unbinded, all the chocks are removed. Just gonna grab this strap with the little mini hoe and snatch it off the trailer. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, well, we made a bunch of noise, but nobody's listening, and we didn't put a scratch on the trailer. Well, we might have scratched the paint, but we did not bend that channel that's in the back. This is a super beefy trailer. I'm very lucky to that Mr. Shane's letting me borrow it. So now I just need to kind of turn this thing, get it facing in the right direction so I can throw it in the hole. Thought I was going to roll over my camera there for a minute. This is going to be really difficult. Well, it's going to be really close. I wish I could have got that stump out, but I think if I pull on it now, the bank's going to cave because it's a pretty big tree. I'm going to have to kind of, I don't know, maybe like let that end go first and fall in, and then this end. I was kind of hoping just to let it tump in, but I don't think that's going to happen because I don't have enough inches. Got an inches problem.
So if you look closely at the larger tree on the left side of the dirt drive, you can see there's a game camera strapped to that tree. My son bought that camera and 3 others, but he didn't buy the right kind. He bought the plastic ones. He should have bought the ones that were resistant to Traco buckets, because those plastic ones, they just don't hold up when you smack them. So, you know, live and learn. I bet next time maybe he'll get a more robust version. So there's no problem getting it to go down the hill. It went like real quick. It's sitting a little lower on the wrong end. The water comes from the right to the left, and it wants to sit lower on the right. So I kept trying to push some dirt under the right end and move it around until the right end would come up a little bit, which I did. And I figured out why the banks were so stable. There were some huge logs that I guess they had set before they set the corrugated pipe or after they set the corrugated pipe. There's a big old log running down both sides. It worked pretty good, but eventually I hooked it with the bucket and pulled it free. Now it's still down there, but it's the bank's not as stable as it was. See the log move? That's it. So anyway, we did good, and put a lot of dirt in it, backfilled it.
And this is progress so far on the big pipe crossing. Been putting a lot of riprap on both sides to try to stabilize this dirt bank because the dirt just keeps sloughing off. And I used this old pipe which was over there in the bushes and just threw it in there. And you can see the original logs they had. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. And they're still in pretty good shape. And I just saw a pretty good sized water moccasin, which I don't mind. I'm not scared of snakes. It's a little unnerving for the kids, especially when the little boys get to where they're hiking around here. So they're just gonna have to be careful. Can't get rid of all of them. So, very good. Just, I'll probably bring a load of, broken concrete every time I come. There seems to be an unlimited supply in my neighborhood with all the remodels and new houses going up. It's just a matter of loading them up in your truck. The more broken concrete we put, the more dirt I can put on top and make the road a little wider. Yeah, I wanted to finish up the property tour. This is where I backed the trailer in this morning and turned it around. And now we're going to the power, under the power lines, where I put the big pipe in the ground. And I've never been, I don't know if any of us has ever had their truck past this because it's been wet and now it's dry. So this is where the big pipe is, and we can cross this without a problem. Now we're out of the piney woods area. We're into what I think is called bottomland hardwoods. It's just a whole different look. The soil's different. The soil's black instead of light tan. The soil's loamy and not sandy. It is very, very flat and does not drain well. So consequently, come rainy season in the winter, it gets very wet. The trees are dormant, so nothing's taking water out the ground, and it gets real boggy. I don't think it's ever flooded from the river. Looking back at the river flood stages, which are on the internet, I don't think the river's ever gotten high enough to really flood this, but it is pretty muddy during the winter, or unpassable probably, but it is beautiful in its own way. More hardwoods, less pine trees, although look, that big stand of pine trees right there. We had Hurricane Ida a year ago, and we're kind of on the northern boundary of where it impacted, but we lost a lot of trees. There's a lot of pine trees down, a lot of big hardwoods down. It's pretty sad, but nothing compared to some people. Some people just lost all their trees. They just got flattened. So, count our blessings. Our woods here, we don't have any long-lived trees. We have live oaks, and they live for hundreds of years. We don't have any in here, in this forest. And there are cypress trees that live for 100 years, but we don't have any cypress trees here. We have them up in another part of the property. So these trees live 40, 50, 60 years, and then that's their lifespan. And then the storms. So right now we're crossing the last piece of drain pipe that I've put in and I'm gonna put in. That was the last one. So anyway, these trees mature, and then come a storm, they fall down. And that is why I don't want to put the mini camper thing, tiny home camper thing under the trees, because I just don't trust them. But I'm gonna put them next to the trees so we see the trees and we can walk under the trees and we can picnic under the trees. But it won't be under the trees. So we're heading to the river. It's the Tangipahoa River, and it's more of a stream up here. It's kind of a sandy creek. It's not good for swimming in because it's shallow. It's got stumps. It's good for wading around and having fun in. It'd be a good river for kayaking, and there's a bridge about 4 miles north of here, and there's another one about a mile south of here, so it would make a good little 5-mile kayak trip. With a current, it shouldn't take too long. Current usually runs pretty good. Let's see, so I've never been here in the truck before. So that's the river down there, but we're gonna go further this way. Sorry about the camera jumping around. I'm doing the best I can. There, you can see the river. It's very pretty. Probably has some big catfish in here. We hadn't fished yet. My son has some trail cameras, and there's definitely lots of deers, coyotes, bobcats, various small animals, dogs. I guess somebody in the neighborhood has dogs. They're repeat customers. They're here a lot. He's a big hunter. I'm not. There's supposed to be a lot of turkeys around here. We haven't seen any. And here we are. This is the end of our little road. Our property line is about, I don't know, 100 yards straight ahead. You can't get there with a car. You can walk it. And here's the river. Here's a kayak we pulled out the river a couple weeks ago. Not sure who it belongs to. It floated down the river. Let's see if I can get down here without slipping and falling on my butt. Oh yeah. Well, if I had a towel, I would take off my clothes and do me a little skinny dipping, because there's nobody around. We also own some land on this side of the river, which is kind of useless to us except for keeping somebody else from building on it. Yep. Very nice. So that's the property.
And back at home, the teeny house waits. I've put a few hours in it in the last couple of weeks, but not many. Mostly I've been here on the tractor. But we'll get back to it, and we'll finish it up, and we'll bring it out here. And hope y'all are along for the whole ride. I think I might drill my own water well, too. That sounds kind of interesting.